So today we're talking about regular ER and IR verbs, all right? So the first thing you need to know when it comes to ER and IR verbs is you need to know what they mean. If you can conjugate them but you don't know what they mean, that's actually not helpful at all. So knowing the meaning is where communication actually begins. So let's get these words written down in your notes. This is from your chapter vocabulary. So beber is to drink. It's related to the word bebida, which is a drink. Comer is to eat. Deber, this one's kind of weird, but to should or to ought to. So you'll never use that as an infinitive. You'll say I should or you should or we should. Leer is to read. Vender, that looks like vend. If you go to a vending machine, that's something that sells things. Vender is to sell. Creer, literally to believe. You also use that to mean to think, which I believe is what you are using it for in this chapter. Aprender is to learn. And correr is to run. So start with memorizing those verbs. Then you've also got 5 IR verbs in this chapter. Abrir, which is to open. Vivir is to live. Recibir is to receive. I don't know if that's IE or EI. I don't know. I teach Spanish, not English. Escribir, that word's related to scribe. Escribir is to write. And asistir, it looks like to assist. It is not to assist or to help. It's to attend, like to attend school. So that's where you start. Memorize those words. Now, before we talk about how to conjugate verbs, let's review how AR verbs work. So you take your verb. Again, you got to know what they mean. So hablar is to speak. And then to actually conjugate it and say who is doing the speaking, you take off the AR, that leaves you with the stem, and then you add your endings. And you've just got to memorize it just like you did with tener, ser, estar, and ir. So o, as, a, amos, ice, and on are the verb endings. So if you want to say, I speak Spanish, then you need to know I is yo, so yo, and then to say I speak, hablo español. If you said yo hablar español, that would mean I too speak Spanish, and so that doesn't make sense. You got to conjugate it. So that's how AR verbs work. Now let's take a look at ER verbs. So I'm giving you guys a couple of examples here, comer and vivir. And it's just like AR verbs. You've just got to memorize it. So some good news with ER verbs, the yo is still O. So if I want to say I am eating, I'm going to do just like I did with hablar, take off the ER, and for yo, I'm going to add O. And then the to ending for AR verbs is AS. For ER verbs, it's ES. So if I want to say you are eating, it will be comes. For usted, él, and ella, you, he, and she. For AR verbs, it's an A. For ER verbs, it's going to be an E. And that also includes it. For nosotros, we, it's almost for AR verbs. For ER verbs, I bet you can guess, it's hemos with an E. Vosotros, I think you can guess, AIS, ice. For ERs, ace with an E, EIS. And then I'd say you can figure out this last one. Ustedes, ellos, and ellas. For AR verbs, it's AN. For ER verbs, it's EN. So back up here to my conjugations of comer. Yo como, I am eating. Comes, you are eating. Come would be he or she is eating, or you are eating if it's formal, or even it. Then for nosotros, comemos. Vosotros coméis. Ustedes, ellos, and ellas comen. So that's it, and that works for any ER verb. Just stick those endings on there. Now for IR verbs, if we change them to A's for AR verbs and E's for ER verbs, you would think you would change them all to I's. That's not really what you do for IR verbs, so it's not quite what you think it is if you're thinking ahead. The yo is still an O. So vivir is to live. If I want to say I am living in Tennessee, take off the IR just like I do for ARs and ERs, put an O on the end, and it's vivo. If I want to say you are living in Tennessee, you is going to still be ES. So it's actually the same as ER verbs. So you are living, vives. If I want to say he or she lives, it is still going to be an E. So vive. And again, that can be it also. Now nosotros, that one does change to an I for IR verbs. So it won't be vivemos or vivamos. It'll be vivimos. Vosotros also is different than ERs. It's IS, vivís. And then for ellos, ellas, and ellas, it goes back to that E. So viven is how you say they live. So that's it. It is a memorization game. So to put this whole thing into perspective, we're going to come back to these and try them. If you've got your pronouns memorized, I want you to see the yo conjugation, always an O. The to conjugation, AS for AR verbs, ES for ER and IR verbs. For usted, él, and ella, it's an A for AR and just an E for ER or IR. So that's usted, él, ella. Also it, remember there's no subject pronoun for it. For nosotros, it's amos for AR, amos for ER, and emos for IR. And then vosotros, ice, ERs is ace, and IRs is is. And then the last one for ARs, it's on, N for ER and IR. So that's ustedes, ellos, or ellas. So that's it. That is the next thing you need to memorize. If we were still in physical school, we would have a quiz over this tomorrow. So definitely work on getting it memorized. This is the point where you can go to conjuguemos.com. There are lots of great games. Just tell it you want regular verbs and you want them to be in the simple present tense. And I think you'll find this to be a website that's not really that bad. It actually has some games in there that are kind of fun. There's a Frogger game that I really like, so check that out. There is also spellion.com, and it's the same thing. Make sure you're doing regular verbs in the simple present tense. And with those, you can still continue practicing estar, ser, tener, and ir, because those may be the 4 most commonly used verbs, and they also are irregular. So that's irritating, but you've got to keep them memorized. So before we go, let's take a look at these sentences. So if we want to say we are sharing a pizza, we, that's our subject, nosotros. Now to say our sharing, you need to know what to share is. So that's where, if you needed to look on your vocab list, you would need to do that. To share is compartir. So to say we are sharing, take off the IR, and it is an IR verb. So IR endings for nosotros, imos. Add that on there. And then a pizza, una pizza. And that's it. Now, if I want to say, where do you live? The word where, donde. Now, remember to say, do you live? Usually you'll put the verb first and then the subject. So let's do that. So if we're saying, where do you live? You is to, and then to live, that's vivir. So again, take off that IR. It's an IR verb. Refer back. The to conjugation for an IR verb ends in ES. Donde vives? And you don't have to have the to there. You don't have to have the nosotros there. Sometimes it's for emphasis or clarification. The next one, I'm drinking coffee. So I'm drinking. I am the subject, yo, and then to drink is beber. So again, take off the ER. The yos are the same for every type of verb. So it's going to be an O, but specifically we're looking at the ER here. So it's that O. So yo bebo, and then coffee, café. And then this last one, he sells books. So he, we know, is él. To sell is vender. Again, take off the ER. The ER ending for he, right here, is an E. El vende. And then libros. So that's it. Again, work on memorizing these verb endings. That is key to making it to Spanish 2. If you are in my Spanish 2 honors class next year, we will be taking a gigantic quiz on day 1 of Spanish class. And this is going to be on there. Now, it'll be just like it was last quarter, where we take it until we're all doing well on it. So it's nothing really to worry about, but it is something that I'm hoping you come into Spanish 2, whether it's my Spanish 2 honors or Miss Broom's regular Spanish 2, that's something that you are going to need to know because we're going to be adding to it next year in Spanish 2. And now is definitely the time to be thinking about that. It's coming sooner than you realize. So, you guys know if you are confused, I am on Zoom every day. I send remind texts. Get on there. All right, I'll see you guys later.